Okay, we're live. Welcome everybody to the Women Lighthouse webinar in the month of May. So let me use this opportunity to say Happy New Month to as many that will be hearing from me for the first time this month. And here today with me, I have Mrs. Immaculata for Agogo. And we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic, how to set smart financial goals with the 50-30-20 rule. Have you heard about the 50-30-20 rule? I'm quite curious. The first time I actually heard about it, I heard it from her, and I told her that we just have to have a conversation around this. So before we go right into our conversation, I'll be introducing Mrs. Agogo to us, and she's a financial advisor and the founder of Ask Up Consult Global Services. So basically, she's provides financial advice and directions on how to save, invest your money, and use your money wisely. And she'll be guiding us through this conversation today. You are welcome, Immaculata.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here once again. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Our last session was awesome. Our last session, in fact, when people even went back to replay the session, there were a lot of positive feedbacks within the Women Lighthouse community. And I said, we
Wow.
just have to bring you again. In fact, this topic was your idea while we were having a
Yes,
conversation about
yes, I
my
remember
own
that.
financial plan. Yeah, and for those of you that do not know, she's my financial advisor. So, and she's someone I highly recommend. I highly recommend. So I'm going to give
Mm.
you the floor to address the conversation before us today. Basically, how do we set smart financial goals with the 50-30-20 rule? So you have the
Mm.
floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm pleased to be here once again. So this is a conversation that everybody, be it maybe a copper, there's such a person need this conversation. Everyone, as long as you're working or you're a copper, you're earning something, you need this conversation so that you can know how to plan and budget your income. Because most times we just earn, but we don't know how to budget and manage our income. So you discover that before the income even or before your salary even arrived, you have even finished spending it, and you'll be looking at, but I thought they just paid me. And you look around, nothing is left. This is what affects us a lot, especially in this part of the world. So diving into the topic, how to set smart financial goals using the 50-30-20 rules. And let me say, if your needs are so tight, you can actually adjust it to 60, 30, and 10. You can actually use 60, 30, and 10 if you cannot make the 50, 30, and 20. So how to set smart financial goals using this 50-30-20 or 60-30-10 rule? So the first thing you need to do is that you have to get a strategy. You have to set a strategy, and that strategy can actually help you. And that is what we are talking about, because this is a strategy to help you save and help you know how much you consume in your needs, your wants, and also what is left for your saving. So the first thing to do here is that first you need to know your income. You need to know your income. And when you know your income, you now know that, okay, this is the amount that is coming into my pocket every month. It is from there you can now set these rules. If you don't know what comes to your pocket, you can't really set these rules. So let's use an example that, okay, you have, let's say your salary is 100,000 naira every month. And now having this 100,000 naira coming into your pocket every month, you ask yourself, how am I going to now set these rules that they've been talking about? So in asking this question, you now tell yourself, okay, what amount, what is, when you say 50, let me even go this way. 50% of that 50, 30, 20 goes for your needs. So 50% is your needs, then 30% is your wants, then 20% goes for saving, emergency fund, investing, and also debt payment in case you're owing somebody. So that is where your repayment of debt repayment comes out from, not from your needs. So when you look at, okay, your needs, what are your needs? So your needs, number one, you look at the rent you pay. It is a need. I'm so sorry, NEPA has taken light. Can we continue?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. So your rent is your need. Then your transportation is your need. Your food is need. These are things you can't do without. Your electricity falls in your needs because you need it. Just like they took lights now, I need it. Then when it comes to your wants are things you can do without. So you can look at buying of new clothes is a want. Then buying of new shoe is a want. Buying of hair is a want.
Yeah.
Eating outside is a want. Sitting out with the girls or the boys is a want. Then any maybe weekend getaway is a want. So these are things that are your wants. Then when it comes to the 20% that goes for your saving, you put that into your saving. Do you know why the major part of your money goes for need and want? Because these are things you need to survive.
Yeah.
So that is why the major part of your income goes into your needs and wants. Then the 20% of your money, and that is why we often say it must be consistency, because that little part of the money you're keeping aside for saving is very important. That is your growth. That is where you can say, okay, I am growing. It is that part of your income. Every other part is consumption. But the only part that you can say, okay, tomorrow I have something to fall back to is that little part, that 20%. And if your needs or your income is so tight, what you can do is you can reduce it and make it a 10%. So that is why we'll say your needs will take 60%, then your wants will take 30%, and your income, your savings can then take 10%. So if it is so tight, you can actually adjust it. That's why we have the 50, 30, 20, and all the 60, 30, 10. You see? So that is very important. And then when you can be able to set this, let's use example so that people will understand. Example now, you earn 100,000 naira. You look at this 100,000 naira is not enough, it's too small. So I can't even save from it. But I tell you, it is very possible to save from it. You have to like cut a lot of your expenses for you to have money set aside. So using example of the 100,000 naira, let's say 50,000 naira will go for needs. Your 50,000 naira should carry your rent, your food, your transportation, and electricity. Then the 30% will go for your wants. That means you're eating out, you're buying of anything you want to buy that month should be in that 30%. Then the remaining 20%, which is about 20,000 naira. Because if 50,000 has been taken, 30,000 will be taken, then 20,000 naira should be for the savings. And you have to save. So you can decide to save it into a money market or any of the other mutual fund. because these are risk-free investments. You're not going to lose your money. So it is actually risk-free. That's why most times they tell you it's low risk. It's risk-free. So you can put that percentage of the money, let's say the 20,000 naira there. Now, in setting a SMART goal, you have to use this money that you earn to set a SMART goal, because your goal have to be what? Specific. And for your goal to be specific, you tell yourself that, okay, I want to save 100,000 naira in 5 months. That is a specific goal. You already know that, okay, you want to have 100,000 naira in 5 months. And you already have it in your mind that, okay, this is how much I earn. So I can be able to save this kind of money in 5 months. So invariably, if you're keeping 20,000 naira, you should be able to achieve that in 5 months. And that is when you take the 50-30-20 rule, that 20% of your savings is actually what you need to be saving to achieve that goal that you have set, which is specific goal. Then the goal must be measurable. If the goal is measurable, so you have to now tell yourself, okay, this goal now, I have to measure this goal, that, okay, I will achieve this particular goal. How are you going to achieve this goal? That is why we say it must be SMART, specific, measurable. You can measure that goal. Then the goal must be achievable. How is it going to be achievable? Okay, what do you earn? Your 20% is actually the 20,000, so you set aside. So it's achievable. You can use that 20,000 naira, saving it every month for 5 months to achieve that your goal that you have set. Then the goal must be realistic. And in being realistic, you already know that your 20% that you're saving is going to give you that realistic of your goal, the reality to come to real. Then the goal must be what? Time bound. You've given yourself that in 5 months. So actually, when you set aside 20,000 naira for 5 months, this particular goal is SMART because it is specific, measurable, achievable, then, and also, achievable and realistic, and then time bound. So that is a goal that you can even see it before setting it. You see, when you tell yourself, I want to save, you cannot tell yourself you want to save 100,000 naira in 5 months when you earn 50,000 naira. It cannot be realistic. So you look at, okay, what do I earn? Okay, I earn 200,000 naira. Then if I earn 200,000 naira, I can actually save. If I earn 100,000 naira, I can save and achieve those things. So, but if you earn less than what you are giving yourself in 5 months, you cannot achieve that goal. So, before now, when you tell somebody, okay, in the next 1 year, I want to save 5 million naira, you have to look at how much comes to your pocket before you say that. But if you just say it, it is vague because you don't even, as a, you don't know where the money, like most times in as a Nigerian, many of us are Christians where they preach those things, and you go to church where they say pray for money to come. I don't believe in those things because it is not realistic. So it is a spiritual thing. They say when you pray, money will enter your. So I believe that you must have worked for somebody, or you must have done something that will make this money to come in, for the money to enter your account. So, and because we are in this country, in this part of the world where we believe things are mostly spiritual than physical, we take those things serious and we believe that that is how it is, but that is not really how it is. That is why Christians from this part of the world can easily get angry with God. Because when you're told that you pray and things will happen, and then you've been praying and nothing is happening, you see yourself be feeling that God does not even hear prayers. But that is not it, because what you're supposed to do, you have not done it. So
Yeah.
invariably, in planning your finances, you don't just say, okay, I'm going to save without looking at, you look at your income, you look at what comes to you, then you look at what goes out for you to now know, okay, if I squeeze myself, I can actually save something like this. I was telling, or there's somebody I met, and the person was telling me, okay, but this thing that I used to preach, she cannot save. After how much is her salary? It's 30,000 naira. So she can't save. I say, no, you can save. You can save with your 30,000 naira. The only thing you're still going to use this 50-30-20 rule, and you will save with your 30,000 naira. I told her, if you're using 50-30-20 rule, the 20% is 3K you'll be saving every month. And that 3K will amount to money with time. Imagine every month you're saving 3K. Then in 2 months, you're having 6K. In 3 months, it's 9K. Before you know it, this same small money will give you 100,000 naira. So there is no amount of money that you cannot bring out something to save. And using this 50-30-20 rules, or 60-30-10 rule, you will surely get it. You will get it right. Because the major part of the income goes for your needs and your wants, then the little part goes for your saving. But that consistency of that savings will bring something tangible to you. So it is something that is doable. Everybody can do it. I can do it, you can do it. A student can even do it. Because most of the students, they even have money more than those of us that are working. A copper can do it. Now that their allowance is about 70K. Everybody can do it. So everybody needs to learn. Everybody needs to learn to save. So it's something that we all can do it. I tell you, you can build wealth. And in saving, you now look at, okay, you have been able to save this amount of money. Where should this money go into? You can also decide that, okay, you will take out your emergency fund. Your emergency fund should always remain in money market, which is mutual fund. That's because it is close to cash. You can easily call for the money when there is an emergency. You can, call for the money. Your emergency shouldn't go, in your 10 or your 20%, you can divide it. When you save, you can divide it and pick out about maybe another 10% and put it in stocks. Because even with 10,000 naira, you can buy stocks. You can buy there are some, all these penny kobo stocks you can buy, like Ella Lakes, even Sterling Bank should be like 6 naira or 4 naira. So you see, you can buy all those stocks. 4 naira stocks, 3 naira stocks, 2 naira stock. Tantalizer is 2 naira. So you can, with 10,000 naira, even with 5,000 naira, you can buy shares. It's just a matter of buying little quantity. Another time you have 5,000 naira, you buy another quantity. So that's how you build it. You have to build it. Then the money for your emergency and also for health care should be kept in money market, because those monies are monies you call for easily at any time. So they should stay in money market. And there is no penalty when you withdraw from it. So invariably, you can save, you can invest in long term and also in short term with your small amount of money. So, but consistency, it was changes everything. Just be consistent and you will see it. I don't know if you have any question for me for this slide.
Yes. So while you were speaking, this okay, now we may have some people listening who actually,
Mm,
before getting to know about this 50-30-20 rule, maybe they've encountered a wrong financial choice, maybe they've incurred debt, and by the time they calculate this 50 30/20. Maybe, for instance, you have a deadline, you've committed yourself to something, and you have a pressing deadline, and you're with meeting up with that deadline of maybe paying a debt or something. It could be quite challenging to accommodate this 50/30/20 rule. How would you advise
Mm.
such a client?
Okay, now being in that scenario, what you can do is you will still plan your money, just like we have mentioned. The 50% goes for needs, then 30% for wants. That 20% now, you can divide that 20%. Because let's say you're owing 60,000 naira, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put that 20% now is 20,000 naira. So 10,000 naira from that 20% should go into paying 10,000 naira to that whoever you're owing, because you're not going to pay the debt at once. So you just will
Yeah.
be paying, you have to be paying small, small till you finish paying it. So you can now commit 10%, 10,000 naira into that into the repayment of the debt. Then
Mm.
you now keep 10,000 naira into your savings. That means you cannot do without saving, no
Yeah.
matter how
Start
tight it is.
small.
Yes,
Oh.
you must. So you can divide it into two. Put 10,000 naira into your saving. Don't fail. No matter how things are. It's better you adjust your wants than to adjust your saving. So make sure that 10,000 naira go for your saving, while the other 10,000 naira you can use it to offset or pay off your debt. And then another month you do the same thing. You will see that instead of not saving at all, you have
Yeah.
saved something. So you shouldn't joke with that one. So instead of adjusting your saving, so adjust your want.
Okay. Then what of for those struggling with consistency? I know you've talked about consistency, and I totally agree. But for some people, they've already formed a habit of being high spenders. How could you advise those kind of people to build consistency? I think that's the word. How do we build consistency when it comes to planning our finances?
Okay.
Practical ways. Yeah.
Yeah, the practical way I know that is very easy is automating your savings. For example, now when they pay you, you can give an order to your bank or even your app. You can
Okay.
make it that, like, you immediately money comes in, you take out that particular money and send it into your savings or your investment.
Mm,
If you
mm,
automate it, it's easier, so that when you put a date, that's also date you have to be paying. You can even go to your bank and do it, so that even if you forget, because you could actually forget and spend that money. But if you give like a standing order to your bank that a particular amount of money, let's say 10,000 naira every month, and you give it a date and you fill form, they
mm,
will automate your they will automate it, so it will go into your investment directly without you touching that money. We even see that money to touch in the first place. So
mm.
that is the best way to be consistent, is automating your savings.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Immaculata, for sharing. I love the fact that you just hit the nail on the head. And basically, having to learn that 50% goes to our needs, 30% goes to our wants, and 20% goes to savings and investments. I know that
Mhm.
I'm still going to bring you on to share more with regards to planning financially as women. And before you go, please can you share with us your handle? I know you have a YouTube page where you also share financial tips. So please tell us a little bit about the services you run, and how we can reach you on social media.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm a financial consultant. You can always reach me for your personal financial planning, because yes, it is very hard to plan finances in this part of the world. So if you have an advisor, a financial advisor, it's always easier because the person will guide you. And what I do is to guide you, to hold you and show you where to put your money, and
Mm,
also looking for opportunities you can invest in, because there are a lot of opportunities that people don't know in Nigeria to invest in. Yeah. So my YouTube handle is money mindset with Ima. Same money mindset with Ima in my Instagram, and then Immaculata Agogo in Facebook. I share financial tips, how best to invest, what to do, how to manage your finances, even how to offset your debts and so on. Because I've been a victim of it. So I know that is, don't just pack the whole money and go and give them while you have nothing left. You will just
very
be like
true.
working and be paying people. So you have
Right.
to pay the little, pick out the
Yes.
percentage I'll be paying every month, just like that,
Mm,
and not so you can be able to save something for yourself. Investment is something we ought not to joke about. I told myself, even if I am hungry, I will invest. That's a
mm,
promise I made myself. So if you can discipline yourself, because truly for you to achieve your goals, you need discipline. If you can
yeah.
discipline yourself and be highly intentional, you will
Mm,
surely see yourself making it in this country, Nigeria. You don't need to japa. You will make it here.
right. Wow. So those are lovely keywords: consistency,
Yeah.
discipline, and intentionality. And I think
Yes.
it's really important having a financial plan, because that's one of the mistakes people make. They just feel they can just run without having a plan. When you have a plan, you can put in the efforts to discipline yourself to work towards it. And
Yes,
I
exactly.
just want to say thank you so much for joining in today and for educating us on the 50-30-20 rule. Basically, how we can use this rule in planning financially towards our financial goals. Thank you for everyone who joined in and everyone who has listened to this. Hope to see you soon as we have better conversations on women and how we could develop ourselves. Thank you so much, Immaculata, for joining me tonight.
Thank
Wishing
you
you a
so
lot.
much. I really appreciate. Thank you. So we see you next time.
Yeah, very soon. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
we'll look for another good topic to talk on.
Right, right. Very,
Yeah.
very soon. Yes. Thank you. Very. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.